Right. So just to recap on that then, 5 or LO5, some of that you can now use your teaching observations as a basis for your responses to those, certainly where it changes and it's you get the different command verbs asking you to show and demonstrate and adapt. Yeah. So those can be actually, or you can use those as actually a basis for what you're going to say about those. And also you can use the lesson plans that you've already developed and talk about those. And this is the session that you're actually delivering.
Okay.
Coming on to LO6, it's looking at the different types of assessment. And as we discussed previously, you've got some methods that you use that involve the learners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enables them to produce assessment evidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's valid, reliable, sufficient, authentic, and current. That's automatic with yours because you're there on site. I can explain. If I'm assessing a learner in the workplace,
yeah,
and he does a particular piece of work that obviously I can't be out there observing him all the time, he may get his boss to actually complete a statement to say that he's done it under his supervision and he did it satisfactorily. So I'll get a witness testimony.
Yeah.
So that way, I need to check that it is valid, it is reliable, and it's sufficient, because the supervisor might not know the criteria that have got to be achieved. He's just saying he's done the job for him and it was fine. But I would have to put further question to do that. So I would have to check again that it was valid, sufficient, reliable, etc. And of course, you as well then meet the internal and external assessment requirements, so that you're producing data from that, which can then be used with those learners as they move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 6.3. Yeah. Your analysis of your assessment effectiveness of your assessment methods, you can discuss that. There's only you can say that, because there's only you can say how you actually do it, where you got it from. Nothing wrong with saying that. I went on the net and I found this and I've adapted it and I've done, etc., etc. So again, 6.2 you will cover with that. 6.4, using questioning and feedback to contribute to the assessment process. Again, this is very much part of what you do. So it's just, again, support with dialogue, the tasks in LO6, or the earlier tasks in LO6. Using, you can use your appendices, like I said before. If you've got documentation in place, like a lesson plan, like the feedback material, like the assessment process or document that you've produced, all that then can be put as appendices, and you just discuss around those. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do at the end of these mindfulness sessions, we actually have a little discourse and we talk about how we felt, what we went through, and things like that.
Yeah.
And recap on what we exactly did and what it's trying to connect to. Like, it's about focus and attention groups.
Yeah.
Learning to calm like their anxieties down because of exams and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant. So again, you're recording the outcomes of the assessment, because you've got, as you said, you're getting them to actually get involved in it, yeah, and produce the documentary or the data that you need.
Yeah.
6.6 is the only one that's slightly different. It's communicate assessment information to other professionals with an interest in the learner. It's what you do with that data afterwards. Who else gets involved? What is it used for, and how are they involved? Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did was we sent a questionnaire out to the teachers to say why would they want the children to go on this course.
Yeah.
And then we're waiting for, obviously, the course to finish, and then we see what they're like in classroom, if they're less anxious or they use the skills that I've taught them, like the breathing and the calming themselves down.
Yeah. Can you just give me a minute? Somebody knocking at my door for some reason. Just a second. I'll just be on hold a second.
Fine. That's fine.
Sorry about that. Job done. Yeah, it was just son-in-law was supposed to be. Wife is supposed to be stopping to pick some up. She's gone. She's probably forgotten all about it. Anyway, job done now. So 6 again is quite a long learning objective, but all of as most of them do actually, from 6.1 onwards, the first part is discussing what you're going to do, and saying how you use it, and the second bit is actually doing it and producing the data, how the data is collected, how it's recorded, and then what you do with it when you've actually collected it all. Okay. So although it looks a long one, it's quite concise in actually how it perform, how you would deliver or present your evidence for it. Yeah. So. It doesn't look like Adele's going to make it tonight. She couldn't make it last week either. She sent me a text actually early on, and she sent me some more material actually today, so I've got to look through it. I'm a little bit behind with my assessment. I'll catch up with that. Don't worry about it. I'll get it back to you. I've got a pile of level 3 stuff that I'm in the middle of as well at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to 7 because it's a short one, as is 8. There are only 2 learning objectives. Yeah?
Yeah.
There are only 2 learning objectives. Only 2 assessment criteria to each of the learning objectives. And what I've done is analysing the ways in which minimum core elements can be demonstrated in planning. Now, you've already told me about that earlier on in the unit, yeah? How you involve maths and other, or you use other things that you remember exactly what you said now. But I know that you involved minimum core at some point in what you were doing, yeah?
Yeah, counting up to 10 or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it's analyse the ways in which they can be demonstrated in planning, delivering, and assessing. And apply, and then again, it's analyse how you can do it, and then say how you actually apply it. Yeah. Okay. So it's in 2 sections. Tell us what you do. Show us how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to apply the evidence of task 7.1 to show how they help in planning. Why has that changed to delivering? Let me just actually put that right. Okay. It's not working, and that's it. Much better.
So, like, basically for that English, Maths and IT, it would be that I use the interactive whiteboard. We do the counting, and we use pictures, and then we use visual objects of reference.
What do you do with that? How do you actually do that?
So maybe we place cards with numbers on them, and we get the children to count 7 counters on there. So if it's a number 7, they need to relate the quantity.
Yeah. It's a bit like the flashcards for English.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's excellent.
Okay.
Now, LO8 itself is very straightforward. It's something that when I was sort of younger into teaching, we very rarely did. But nowadays it's become, I'll say we never really did. That's not true. We did it, but not in any formal way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the sort of thing that after you delivered a lesson, you sort of thought about what you delivered and think, did it work okay? Did it go okay? Did you engage them properly? Did you get the responses you were looking for? You were asking yourself those questions, but there was nothing documented. Okay. Today, it's a much more reflective occupation. This is done and recorded now in a lot of instances to improve the standard of what you're doing. Basically, it's self-questioning of everything that you do. Why am I doing it this way? It could be. Sorry, go on.
I've got, so I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing social communication skills with a group of 5 little children.
Yeah.
And I'm planning it and delivering it, and then I write a little reflection of the next steps and what I'll do to make it better.
Well, this is actually 8.1 and 8.2.
Okay.
What it says, review the effectiveness of your own practice in planning, delivering and assessing inclusive teaching and learning, taking into account the views of learners and others. Reflective view of your own practice, check additional material you might be needed. Forget that. Ignore that for now. I'm going to check that out because it's changed slightly when I've gone to Unit 3.
Okay.
So I'll just check that out for now.
So it's just like one A4 sheet. It basically says the activity, how many children are present, and then what we do and what I'm getting them to do in terms of speaking.
So once you've reviewed that and picked holes in it and said this could be better, we could do that differently. Identify areas for improvement in your own practice in planning, delivering and assessing inclusive teaching and learning. So basically it's saying a reflection of what you've done, how could it be better?
Okay. So that one, if I submit that one sheet and just expand on it a little bit more, that should be okay, right?
Exactly. It's straightforward. That is, a lot of people have struggled a bit with this LO8, and I've just weighed it up there in 2 sentences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about what you do. Think about how you could improve, or write about what you could improve. So that's basically the 2 sentences that cover 8.1 and 8.2.
Okay.
So, what you said this morning in your text, you are quite on track. You're not running behind at all. Don't worry about that. I mean, you're in front of most of the rest of the group. You've not missed any sessions. You're doing pretty well. The material you're sending to me is okay. There's nothing wrong with it, if you know what I mean. There are no real wrong answers in this because you are telling me how you operate. Yeah? And that's what it's about. These questions to me are put in place to ask you what you do. Tell me what you do. Show me how you do that.
Yeah.
Think about it. Analyse it. Is it good? Is it bad? Could it be better? How do you actually do it? What records have you got? All that whole unit is all about that right from the start. Okay. And if you're in a teaching position, then you'll be actually presenting evidence daily in the way you actually work, and it's just actually quantifying that and putting it together into your piece that's going to cover LO1. Yeah. You're already up round about. I didn't do a word count last time, and I think it's up around 10,000 words now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which is it's more than adequate. I mean, a lot of students probably get round about 8. A couple have got, 10 or 12. But most of it can be covered inside that, because if you've got the documentation to use, the less you've got to do in explanation.
Yeah.
You can really point out, refer to this, and this is what we do. End of. Yeah. You don't have to explain a whole process because you've got it there in front of you as documentary evidence.
Yeah, so I think 7 and 8 is going to be okay for me to do.
Yeah, no problem.
I just need to plow a bit through the end of 5 and 6, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back through 5. I'll go back into 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's analyse the effectiveness of the teaching and learning approaches used in your own specialism, and that is the way or the methods of delivery that you use, yeah?
Yeah. I think you can't achieve for that.
Yeah, and in meeting the needs of individual needs of learners.
Yeah.
Coming back to what I've said, it's analysis of what you do in your teaching approach and why it's effective. Include school, college, work communication practice, examples of emails, meetings, oral discussions, etc. Sort of face-to-face meetings, things like that. Any evidence of that, any documentation you've got of meeting minutes, any sort of team briefings and that sort of thing. If you've got anything like that, then use those. Yeah.
So what I submitted for that was my summary. I I didn't submit a summary management. I actually just used the template document to show how I log everything.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Because, like I say, you've got a document to put in place and explain it. It's a lot easier than trying to explain the process, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I just thought, this is what I do. I usually put in the date and say it was a phone call or whatever. So it's the subheadings of what I do without anyone's information or anything written on there.
Yeah, brilliant. Again, it's this analysis bit on there. All this first part is an analyse. So look at what you do. Answer this from your own experience of teaching with the resources you've got, 5.3. This is why I've said this document that you're producing now is yours. Under data protection, it can't go to anybody else. So if you've got anything less than nice to say about people or resources, by all means put it, because you're telling it like it is. This is what we've got, this is what we use, this is what you could even say this is what we're forced to use because we haven't got X or we haven't got Y, yeah?
Yeah, but you know what? Having said that, when I was looking at the health and safety policy and the ED policies, I was just like, this is such a lie, it's just for show. And then I started writing something about it and I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to bother because I've written so much already.
Yeah.
I just thought, there's no point. I'm just venting. I'm counselling myself through the writing.
Actually, yeah, I find that therapeutic as well to write things down.
Yeah.
As I get older, it's handy as well because I don't remember them. Yeah. So yeah, when you get past 5.3, it changes then to show me, use inclusive teaching and learning approaches, including technologies, demonstrate ways to promote equality, adapt teaching and learning approaches to meet the needs of learners, and communicate with learners and others. So that is a practical observation of really how you actually perform. Yeah?
Yeah.
I should have put this in earlier. I never thought about it. I think I put it in another unit, actually. You can use your observation sheets as a basis for those units there. Yeah?
Those four, 5.4 to 5.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they are all practical, asking you to show what you can do and how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the best approach to LO5.
So with that 5.4 to 5.7, I'm working one-to-one with an autistic child, and what I'm doing is I'm differentiating his work. It's a totally different, obviously, lesson plan. It's the same lesson plan as the teacher would do. But so like for reading comprehension, I'll do color key coding with him. So I'll tell him to color in the question and then use the same color to find the answer in the text. And then I get him to write it down on his paper.
That's adapting the plan.
Yeah?
That's showing adaptation, 5.6.
Okay.
Yeah. Adapt teaching and learning approaches and resources, including technologies if you use them, to meet the individual needs of learners.
But I don't note that anywhere. It's not like I don't log any of that. It's just what I do with him in class because nobody else knows how to do it.
Well, you can actually, in that case, talk through it.
Okay.
I mean, just talk through it in your script, yeah?
Okay.
You can use your observation, this is a lesson, this is what we do, blah, blah, blah. And then for certain learners, I've had to adapt the plans because, and you can explain the situation and then how you've actually gone about it.
Okay, fine.
Talk us through it, yeah. Like I said, once you've understood the whole process of this award, it is very much a hands-on award, yeah? It's not as academic as it looks when you first pick it up. And there are lots and lots, and this is why I actually put all this stuff down here on the suggested evidence, because it jumps out to me once I started to read through it clearly, because I took the class over from someone previous, and I'm thinking, we don't need millions and millions of words, 15, 20,000 words, which is someone coming up with, because it had been attacked as a purely academic process, and it isn't. It's just, is it? So, Carry on sending. Sorry.
I feel like I've done something.
Take assessments for you and send them back to you. Maybe not immediately at the moment. Like I said, I'm very busy with assessments at the moment. I'm trying to catch up on some of the work that's been done by other tutors as well. And hasn't been assessed for some reason. Anyway, I've picked that up now, and we're going to get that sorted over the next few weeks. But certainly, the ones that are on regularly, I will send their feedback, obviously, as quick as possible.
Okay, fine. I'm going to try and do all of it now and then send it over to you.
Yeah, but as I said, I'm here. If you've got any questions, anything you're not sure about, anything you want just a bit of support with, just let me know. If I go back, actually, to get rid of that. Yes. Okay. If I go back to here, just click on that one.
Yeah.
A whole host of stuff on here. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's sometimes it can be confusing depending on your circumstance where you're actually teaching. Yeah. It's somebody was actually explaining when it's got pedagogy, curriculum, teaching, etc. And she said, but it's not actually pedagogy I'm doing, it's andragogy. And there's the differentiation between adult teaching and children teaching. It's as simple as that. But the way it was written on there, it was throwing him a little bit, had it confused slightly. But like I say, if there's anything at all you're not sure about, you just want a bit of backup on, at the end of a text or drop us an email and I'll pick it up from there.
All right, fine.
Okay.
All right, brilliant.
So we are through pretty quick tonight. We're only on 30 minutes. That's very good for me. For sort of be wondering about. Okay then. Anyway, thanks for your attention, Deepa, and I will obviously probably speak to you either on text or email in between, and I will hope to see you again soon.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Take care.